because this has been difficult. I do not have any live stream shown up on my thing. Why not? It says I am live. Select live sources. Ruggy. Social stream doesn't work anymore. Let's see if we got. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to get my chat highlights to work. And it is not finding my live source all of a sudden, which is making me a little bit upset. So let me get my YouTube ID here. And we'll activate it manually, or see if I can anyway. Not myself. Let's see if I can activate it this way. It just does not work. There we go. Select live sources. Come on. There we go. Activate the selected. Is that selected? No, it's ended. It doesn't see it. I do not understand. Let's see. I'm going to try to activate it from here. Alrighty then. That's an old chat. So that's not going to work. I'm trying to learn how to use this, really. Trigger a fake message. Nope. This is very strange. I don't know when that was all done. Huh. But nothing's working, and it decided that it doesn't want to see anything, and I'm a little bit upset about this. Let's see if I can reload. Saturday Mumbling. Activate selected. Let's see if we got it now. I don't know. It's just not working. This is a pain. Let's try killing that. I'm going to go to a newer social stream. That's an older one. We'll see if it works. 6 viewers already, though. But it doesn't want to bring up my window. Well, that just stinks. Give me a second here, guys. I'm very sorry this is screwing up. See, the problem is with this is that I can't get this working beforehand, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. So I want to activate that selected. Where did my chat window go? It should have it, but it does not. And it's not in the tray. It says it's active. Let's stop it. It's very strange. It doesn't have my chat window anywhere. I'm going to do this. Nope. No chat window. Oh, well. So I got to go manually look at my chat. So give me a second here, guys. I'm sorry. I have to get this fixed because this is just a pain in the neck. View my channel. Come on. Yeah, and I got a chat, which is just weird. I don't know. This is strange. All right, so here's what I'm doing tonight. And I really wish that this stupid the chat highlight works like once every like 3 times now, and I don't know why, and I'm really annoyed by it. Social stream is just such a pain in the neck, and I really, really want this Lightstream Studio to get its YouTube integration working, because this is just a pain in the neck. And I'll work on this later, because every time I want to try to do a stream, it doesn't work, and it's a real pain in the neck. Anyway, I've been away, and I've been working on this for 13 minutes. And you guys have still been here, so that's really nice. But I want to go through trying to work on creating a Monty Python co-curricular medieval reenactment program character tonight, because we're going to be running a stream of that on the 11th, and I'm going to be doing some character creation with folks for a couple of days, and that might be fun to do. And also, I spent a really long time putting in a lot of this material by hand, so I'm going to try to show it to you and learn how to use this stream a little bit better. In some respects, I like going straight from OBS, but I can't do it because my internet would explode, and this is all web-based, so that's one of those things. All right. So thank you for watching. I see I got actually folks who are watching, so thank you so much. I see Trey. I see my ear trumpet, which, by the way, you have one of the coolest usernames ever. And I see Chuck T and Agile Monk is there. Really, really cool. Oh, Trumpet, you're giving away gift memberships all the time. That's so really nice of you. This is another reason why I want to have a highlight of all the cool stuff that people do, because that's really nice. So I'm trying out how to do this. So first off, let's bring up character creation. And we'll flip this over because that's how my brain works. So here we got the character creation steps, and you have to choose a situation. A situation is, as I try to get centered in my camera here, a situation is akin to class in another game. Every situation is going to must have traits, and every trait is going to have one accoutrement, essentially an item that is part of the character. Now, these are important because if you have that trait and the accoutrement in the box, you get a +1 on all rolls with that trait. But, and as you'll see as I get the accoutrements put in, every accoutrement also gives you other benefits. They also can have some detriments, but they just give you benefits, which will apply to other rolls, which is really kind of cool. You can lose your accoutrements when you take a bit of death, you take damage, or take a bit of loony, go a little bit gaga. And when you do that, you can blow off taking the damage by losing the accoutrement. So it's essentially, it's almost like armor points in some respects, but they do more and you can lose them. That's really kind of an interesting thing. The other thing you can get is a default retainer that goes along with your situation. And they actually can carry more accoutrements, and you can actually use those accoutrements and then even lose the retainer and just let them go. And so you can really stick around a little bit longer. It's not a nice game. Monty Python is not nice. You can see some of the art, which is really kind of fun. So what we're going to do here is I am going to, as I'm looking at everybody's stream here and trying to make sure people aren't commenting. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have the stupid chat window working. So what I am going to try to do is create a character for you all using a very beta implementation of the Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program character sheet that's been put into Foundry using like a build any system type thing. So I'm going to bring that on. Well, actually, I won't do it right now. What I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to build a cleric. Why don't we just go completely off? Yeah, the art does look really cool, New Dice. It's a really cool looking book. And actually, you can get the PDF for free. I will have my random thoughts for the week are going to go live tomorrow morning. And actually, I have the link in there. And if I can get the link up today, I'll try to get it up while I'm doing the stream. Somebody remind me to do that. But for right now, I'm going to just play a cleric. I figure why go against type. I've been making knights for a while now. And here's the steps on creating a cleric. So let's see what happens if I make this. If I take me to picture in picture and I make the cleric big. No, that's the wrong way. There we go. And it's still pretty small. All right. Just everybody make it full screen and you'll be happier. So creating a cleric, you have to have purpose. That's one of your traits. So you're going to record that trait and that accoutrement. You must have lorefulness, record that trait and accoutrement, which is great. And then you can choose your class. A class is going to change the way that you interact with people of other social classes. So if you are an upper class and you're doing with low class, they tend to not want to pay attention to you. A lot of times they're indifferent to the types of things that you do. We'll get into that in a second. But so you must have lorefulness, and then you're going to choose your class. I'm just going to make it an upper class cleric because I think that would actually be really, really fun. Dice highlights of the week are a highlight of the week that makes me really it makes me really grateful. Thank you for that. I like to keep doing them. And this is your first time seeing it, Trumpet. You got to get this book. It's a beautiful book. I'll pull it off the shelf when we get a little further on. You can see it, but it is one of the most beautiful books that I've gotten in a long time. And full disclosure, I did get this as a copy from Exalted Funeral. So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to make a cleric, and I'm going to bring my Foundry up here as I get my Foundry over. Where did I do it? On Brave. There we go. So let's get Foundry up. The wonders of sharing your screen. And we're going to take off that, and I'm going to put me in picture. It's the one thing is you can't prep scenes in this. You have to kind of do it as a step-by-step basis, which I really don't like. But anyway, so I created a character, a blank character sheet. Did I really? I thought I did. We'll do it now. We're just going to name him Cleric for now. And so with this, why isn't it showing anything on the thing? Oh, I'm 20 seconds behind on that. So here's Cleric, and I'm watching the screen over here so I can see the chat. So I'm like, why is it behind? This is the problem when you're not using chat. With this system, you have to choose your template that you're going to use for this particular sheet. So there's ones for a whole. That's the term for the GM in this game. It's called the Head of Light Entertainment, an NPC template, which is all your adversaries, and a PC template. So I'm doing the PC template. I'm going to hit refresh, and here is the character sheet for the Monty Python's co-curricular reenactment program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to bring my items out for that. And we have already determined that we need to have, I'm going to go to edit. This is set up a little strange. So give me a second here. So we've determined that we have to have purpose. So I'm going to actually put purpose on the first one. There's a lot of traits. I think there's 14 of them. And lorefulness is that we have to have. I have also determined that I'm going to have a starting retainer. So I'm going to have an alkalite. And I'll bring that over in a second because I actually drive the retainer over. I forgot about that. And what I'm going to have is I have purpose. I have lorefulness. I think I want glibness is the other one that I want. Trait, argumentation, grimness, or luck. Yep. And then I'll have a cleric. Let me see. I think I missed one here. So I have choose a class. Middle, you must have chastity. Decorum is the other one that I need. So decorum will be third. Give me a second here. I knew I missed a line. And then glibness, because I just want it to be this very affluent, disingenuous, ingenuous cleric, buttering everybody up all the time. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And I'm going to have a retainer, and I'll throw an acolyte in. And see, I actually have to assign this. So you have to edit. It's a little bit difficult to set up just with all the clicks, but I'm going to go to the second retainer spot. And I'm going to put the acolyte right there. And I'll be able to assign attributes to the acolyte in a little bit. So that's kind of the way that gets set up right now. So now I have to have all of these accoutrements set up for purpose, lorefulness, decorum, and glibness. So let's go back to my screen. We're going to take off DM tails and we'll go this again. Man, you really always want to put me there. So let's start with purpose. So you can see that there is going to be a table here, a 1d10. And that is what accoutrement that I get for that trait. So I'm just going to roll a 1d10. I didn't have dice tray put on in this, so I need to do it by hand. And I got a 1. So you can see that I have a pat plank. And so I get +1 to all trait rolls versus clergy. So if I'm trying to really butter up the bishop, I can do that. But -1 in the wisdom is ways of science because he is a fake true believer type. If I was going to try to replace it, if I lost it, the cost would be 2. And you can see at one time used whilst chanting in Latin, oh dear, break it over your head, suffer 1 bit of death. Move purpose 4 degrees towards serious and move all other traits 1 degree towards silly. We're going to talk about that in a second. So that's the pate plank. So I'm going to drag that onto my sheet and I'll show you how we organize it in a second. So give me 1 second here. So purpose, purpose, pate blank. There we go. It's an unassigned accoutrement. I'm going to show all this in a second. Now we're going to go to lorefulness. I bookmarked all these. I chose them in advance. Good morning from the second two ed sect in the UK. Hey, how you doing, Mithril? Nice to see you, buddy. We're going to go to lorefulness, and we get another 1d10. So let's figure out what accoutrement we're going to do, and I'm going to show you how I assign these to the things that, like I said, afterwards. And this time I rolled a 4, so I get Yalt's Forbidden Hungarian Phrase Book. I get +1 to glibness, which is one of my traits. So that's really kind of cool. So I'm going to pull that over. I said this was lorefulness, right? And it's for, is it Yalt's? Yalt's Forbidden Hungarian. There we go. Yes. Wonderful. Now we got to go to decorum. Bring that out here. Another 1d10 roll. The dice rolls are live. You'll see the chat log when we get back over. Oh, another 4. So I got a surcoat with +1 valor. Ooh, look at me. I'm going to be fancy. What did I say this was? This was decorum. Surcoat, yes. And then glibness. Goody, 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 goody. Give me 1 second here. Go to glibness. And I'm going to do the one last roll. And I'll show you an 8. A Punch and Judy puppets, +1 to all trait rolls versus lower class persons and children, but -1 to all authority, because you can't be taken seriously when you have a puppet on your hand unless you're running one of the Muppets, I guess. But man, it's a Legendary place. So this is glibness. Punch and Judy. There we go. I copied all this text over by hand. Okay, so now I want to show you retainers, and I'll show you how these work. So I'm going to have an alkylate, which is number 1 up here. So, just right there. It can carry the alkylate. It. What game is this, by the way, B-Thrill? This is Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program. Fun. This cleric can have an alkylate following him around, can carry 2 extra accoutrements. That's 2 extra bits of death or bits of loony I can toss off. Can be employed by clerics in the same religion. Actually, Brianism is one of the religions that you can take up in this game, so that's kind of fun. And here's the cool thing. If you see this column right here, per diem, which means that every day that passes inside the game, you have to give this retainer this payment or they scaper off because they want nothing to do with you anymore because you're not they are not happy with you. So to have an alkylate, you have to do 1 earnest mutual prayer. And you have to role play it. Like that's what you have to do. If you had a poet, I think that's really funny. You have to do like 1 romantic scene with the person, or you have to like set up a romantic scene between NPCs and have them do it. But if you can't get NPCs to do it, like you have to play it with the poet, who would be played by the head of Light Entertainment, which I just think is really cool. So I'm going to have an alkylate, so I can do 2 accoutrements from chastity, lorefulness, nimbleness, or purpose. If my character dies, this character would actually be promoted into a PC, and it would promote to a cleric or a monk or a nun. So same basic situation in life, that sort of thing. Really cool. And I do not know what it is about the house in the summer, but it's really making my throat dry. And I need to remember to have huge amount of water while I am talking here. So I'm going to get those. So 2 accoutrements, 1 from chastity. We'll do chastity and nimbleness since my character doesn't have any of those. So these are the traits are all done in alphabetical order. So let's do chastity first. There's the D10 table. And I rolled a 6. So a quick pitch pavilion chastity. This item is marketed as the quickie, but we're not sure why, as it's designed for on-the-go meditation and prayer only, must be erected before use. There's so much going on in that, but that's perfect for an alkylate. I'm going to drag that over into my sheet, and I'll show you how to apply that all later. So quick pitch pavilion. There we go. It's just, there is just so much going on there. Lorefulness to nimbleness is probably the fastest jump for me. There's nimbleness. And I'm going to roll the D10 for that. We'll get back over to looking at Foundry. A 5. Split crotch breeches. Extra +1 to nimbleness. I got to tell you, this is one of the most insane games that I've ever seen. And I'm going to get to play it on the 11th with the creator of the game, which is awesome. All right. So I love this book. It's a great read, even if you don't care for the TTRPGs. Ton of Last Trey. Hey, I am Bob. How you doing? It is not hot here right now. I just dry. It's actually like 70 degrees outside, which is really weird around here for August. But this is this book. I thought it was going to take me forever to read this book to get it up for a review because I was laughing so hard and I didn't want to miss any of the things that Brian stuck in the book. So we're going to take off the screen share. I'm going to put back on Foundry and put myself into the box. Okay. And here I'll see if I can drag myself over. Get myself now. I should be able to drag myself out of the way, but I'll do this. That way I'm not blocking any of the screen. Well, I am, but oh well. So, all right, let's take a look here. So you can see that I have all my traits are up here and I have my alkylate in my last box here. Oh, I can do my big. big thing. Here we go. Mac thing. So now I have to assign all these accoutrements to the trait. This is the hard part of the way that this system is set up, because this is not the system that Exalted Funeral made for Monty Python's game. This is actually somebody created this character sheet, and this is the way that the system works, because you have to make it for everything. So the way that you do it is and I put these in order. So the pate plank is I have to hit edit, and what this does is I do all the bonuses that always apply, and wisdom in the ways of sinus -1. These are in addition to the thing that it's in the trait, so it automatically gives a plus. But then I have to assign it to the thing, and I go to the first trait. And you'll see when I get over there, it's going to be assigned. Yalt's Forbidden Phrase Book is purpose. So we're going to edit that. That's the second one. Disappears. The surcoat is going to be decorum. That's the third one. And then Punch G Puppets is going to be glibness. That's the fourth one. So it's not hard. It took a little bit for me to figure out how this all works. And now these two go to that alkalite. So we're going to scroll down, and fifth trait, retainer. And this last one, the split crotch breeches. Now their bonuses apply to me, that's one of the benefits of having a retainer is, yeah, you got to pay them every day, but you get extra bonuses, and you get extra health because you can throw them under the bus. It's not a nice world. So you can see where all the things are applied over here. So this is not the way that the sheet works that you work off, though, because this is the way that the sheet looks like when you are working. Isn't that kind of fun? So now I have all my traits in. Here's all my accoutrements over here. Purpose, lorefulness, decorum, glibness, and my alkalite is there. So now here is what we need to do. We have to get my starting value from purposeful to Welchmert to loreful to Gumby to decorous to fart in your general direction to glib to its. And get my starting value for what die I'm going to roll for different checks. Hey, Cypher Unlimited, how you doing, man? It's always good to have the CU crew here. Very, very nice. All right, so let's have some fun on how to do this. So I'm going to get Cleric back up on the screen here. And let's see about boink. There we go. So the Cleric on the screen, there's different ways that you can do it. So you can determine your starting die values for your traits. Let me highlight this text. By assigning one a D16, one D16, one D14, one D12, one D10, and one D6, or by rolling for each. So you can roll for your character attributes, and it's always a thing that I need to remember how to do. So give me a second here. Record your must-have traits. Get your must-have retainer. That's right there. Fill in each line. Determine your starting value. Here we go. As I'm sorry, I'm getting you dizzy flipping through the pages. I should have had this one done. So roll for values. Thumb your nose at safety and balance. Leave fate in the hands of the dice deities. For each of your traits, roll a d6 3 times. Your starting die value corresponds to the sum of the numbers rolled. One admires a person of your pluck. As a reward, you get an odd number. If you get an odd number total, you can round it up. For example, your 3d6 is for authority total 8. You begin the program with a d8 and a 30. A sum total of 12 means a d12. A 17 means an 18, which puts you at a d18. That would be kind of fun. I am Bob. Basic Fantasy is great. Basic Fantasy is a lot of fun. I love Basic Fantasy. It's really a lot of fun. There's not a whole lot of work in setting up this character. Basic Fantasy is easier. It's roll 3d6 straight down the line, pick your class, get your hit points, kit out yourself, and give yourself a spell if you have one. So yeah, that's simple. This isn't hard. It's the harder part is because I'm trying to do it digitally, because not everybody has all the funky dice for the game. And so I'm trying to get this digitally so that people can just roll from the sheet. And I'll show you how that works in a second. It's not hard. Is it less fun? That's completely a matter of opinion, which is not a bad thing. People like what they like. I think that the way this game is designed, and I played a session of it, is absolutely incredible fun, incredibly fun. I mean, I ran Basic Fantasy for 2.5 years, the campaign, and I think it's fantastic. And Chris Connerman is an awesome person. Um, I want a different experience right now. So I'm running slightly different games. And I think right now this is the first time that I've not run like a D&D derived system in a really long time, because I'm running Dragonbane and Numenera as my ongoing campaigns. So it's just I'm just going through a time of life where, like, I'm going to go explore these systems for a while. And I really enjoy Monty Python and its humor and British humor in general. So I'm enjoying creating for this is kind of what I'm doing right now. So what do you guys think? Should we just do the 3d6 and see what we get? I think let's, in honor of Basic Fantasy, which was mentioned, let's do 3d6 straight down the line. And I think that will be fun. So let's get off that. There we go. Back up to there. And I'm just going to do 3d6 down the line. And I need to remember to put dice tray back on. All right, so roll 3d6. So that gives me an 8. So my purpose is an 8, which is not very high. So you can see now I have that checkbox in the 8 right there. This comes into play as you go. This is awesome. Bonus 8. I am a high. Oh, and I also said I'm high class, so I got to put that up there. And he's a cleric. Let's change that too. So I am a high class cleric who's a little bit listless and is not as bright as he thinks he is. And I already love this character. 3d6. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So 13, but we get to round up, so it's a d14. So decor. Oh my gosh, but he blends in really well. I think this is really, really fun. Yep. Yeah, I'm not paying for Funky Dice. You can do Funky Dice online. It's not a big deal. Like I'm doing Funky Dice here through Foundry for free. And you can just type it in if you want. That's not a big deal. And then glibness is my last one. So my rolls give me a cleric. Now, if I was just doing the the array that I could put out, I could have like 16 at purpose and be rolling really high. That's the thing. Will I do any more Basic Fantasy in the future? Yeah, sure. I mean, at some point I'll do Basic Fantasy in the future. I know there's a Iron Falcon edition that just came out that's Creative Commons. So I'm going to talk to Chris about getting him on to talk about why, going through the process of that. That should be fun. I like stuff like that. But look at these rolls that I did. So, because if I was doing this with the array, I would probably have a really purposeful cleric. Because he's purposeful. That's what he goes through. But instead, I have a cleric who is not really purposeful. He's kind of shabby in keeping his job. Doesn't really even know what he's doing. Not really, and but can blend in really well in high society. So he dresses very nice and can flatter people with complete insincere flattery pretty well. And he's got an alkalite following him around. I'm not going to say anything other than I really love this character. This is really, really fun. I'm going to bring the cleric thing back up here. Let's make it live again. Getting the hang of using this. I need to figure out what I'm indifferent to. Your starting death status is fine. Your starting looting service status is sensible. So essentially, you have mental damage and physical damage in the game. Is basically the way that works. You are indifferent to wisdom of the way it's a science, which I'm going to put myself in the thing. So, when people ask me what my D&D character class would be if it was based on who I am. It would literally be a cleric because that is my typical quote unquote day job. And I have met pastors who are indifferent to wisdom in the ways of science. So that is going to be what we are indifferent to. So I'm going to bring him up here, and you can see this down here. And indifferent to wisdom in the ways of science. You can't tell them that the world is round no matter how hard you try, and I've tried. So indifference, here's how indifference works. Anytime someone tries to like reason with you about something, using role wisdom in the ways of science, you just don't hear. And it's not like, oh, I failed the role. It bounces off me. It's like work the fiction into it. So it's like, as you were arguing with me, like I was just looking at the butterfly. I'm like, look at this butterfly. This proves that the earth was flooded. That's the type of thing that we do. Does it count if you've been a children and youth pastor? Sure it does, Agile Monk. Of course it does. So yeah, that's the way indifferent works. So if you're indifferent to authority, because a lot of the trolls are indifferent to authority. It's not just like we don't listen to it. It's just like it's the scene in Monty Python's and the Search for the Holy Grail. It's like, my name is Dennis. Like, I'm not old. I'm 37. Like, you're just ignoring the fact that this is the king. Like, it just doesn't work on you. Instead, you start talking about being a narco syndicate commune. That's the way indifference works in the game, which is I think is hysterical. The way that Monty Python is set up, it is very much telling you, be serious. Don't go for the gag. Run your character as seriously as possible, because what makes British humor in general, Monty Python in particular, funny is that like these are incredibly serious people in utterly absurd situations, and that's what makes it's that dissonance that makes it really, really, really funny. And that's what they tell you to do in this game, which I absolutely love. This character, except for they're determine your starting die value. You collect your naughty pictures in currency. I have to roll a d30 to see how much you've confiscated. So, I don't have these for myself. No, I've stolen these from people, or I've confiscated them from people to make sure that I've saved their souls. It's not that I enjoy them, not at all. I've never met anybody like that at all. So, and you roll a d30, and I love that the d30 actually exists in Dice So Nice. And apparently, I'm not really not really good at anything as this cleric, because I've only managed to confiscate 3 dirty or naughty pictures. So I have 3, and that's it. And you can see these are all the currencies for the game. Let's see if I can zoom in. I can't zoom that in. I'm sorry. But you have acorns, cheese, eggs, gemstones, gold, lupins, naughty pictures, plague dead bodies, upper class twit trading cards, and Wizzo butter are all the different currencies. And you can go to a different town, and they would not take your naughty pictures. They only accept Wizzo butter. I need a shrubbery, that sort of thing. Let's see some comments down here. Unfortunately, I can't put it up on screen. I love the game. Yeah, Trey, I do love that it tells you to play the character straight and let the situation make it funny. And it absolutely works. I'll tell you about this in a second. Advise, how would you play or write a Night of the Living Dead module homebrew for this game? Or in like Easy D6. I am not the one to ask, because I have not done that. I'm not a zombie guy in general. I do know that Night of the Living Dead just got released for Everyday Heroes, and the folks at Avenue Studio did a one-shot of it, which was beyond bizarro. I would say surviving a railroad game, but I'd love to advise your opinions. You know what? I'll have to ask some folks for that. I know DM Scotty is working on a horror supplement. I actually played Survivor with him. My character got to the last like right before the exit, and then got eaten, and ate somebody else in the postlude, the end credit scene. It was really kind of fun. Karn 2, yeah, but you could look at I would say, like, look at any zombie survival game and see how they do it and go with that. That'd be kind of fun. And I'm not the person to ask because I don't run a lot of zombie games. I could. There are some ones that are funny. Night of the Living Dead is. I watched the one shot that Avenue Studios did on it. I was like, "What is this?" And because I had never seen it, and I went back and started working. I was like, "Good night, this is crazy!" Like the whole send more paramedic scene. Crazy, because in Night of the Living Dead, if folks don't, I think most folks here probably would know, is like you don't kill the zombie by shooting it in the head. It just keeps coming after you. And if you like cut its arms off, well, then you have the rest of the zombie coming after you, and the hand is coming after you too, because they just don't die. It's not good. It's really, really freaky and very gory. Not my typical fare, but hey. All right, so let's take a look at how this system works. So we have a cleric whose name is Cleric. We'll name the cleric. We'll just name the cleric Tripton. Why not? Trey G, I am Bob Horror Mode from Cypher System. Trey, with the sanity, very good. And actually, you could use this sanity, or what is it? What is it called in Cypher System? I haven't read that. The horror section is so long, but it's very similar to like Call of Cthulhu, where your character is slowly being warped by all the things that they're going through. That's Return of the Living Dead. Thank you, I am Bob. Not like they split off from each other, and I get them confused. So, but you could use, if you wanted to do Return of the Living Dead, not Night of the Living Dead, you could use that sanity thing, be like, they got exposed, and the more they're going insane, the closer they are becoming fully zombified, which happens in the movies, which would be really, really fun. Also, I have zombie brain eaters over here, which is just a fun. I'll show it to you. This is written by Ham and Egg Studio by John McGuire, who is someone who is a friend of the channel and a very nice guy. I met him at Page. But this is Seasons Eatings. Now, like I said, I'm not normally zombie guys. This is a Christmas themed one shot where you are all mall Santa Clauses or Mrs. Clauses who are at the See You Next Tuesdays. It used to be a TGI Fridays, but it lost the license, for the end of the season party. And you're there, and you have a white elephant. Like literally, there are rules in this game to have a white elephant competition or game. And then a zombie outbreak starts, and that's your starting equipment. So you could literally start the game with nothing more than a winning lottery ticket, which just seems absurd to me. And I have to do a review of this game soon. But you're in the mall, and of course there's all these things in the mall that you can use for equipment, but you have to break into all the stores. But there's zombies running around trying to eat you, and the security guards are there, and they're trying to keep you from breaking into the stores because that's their job, and they're not paying attention to that there's a zombie outbreak going on in this mall. And John went so far, he did this in like 2 weeks. They made a brochure for the entire mall that looks like it was directly out of the 80s and 90s. I mean, look at that. Let's see if it'll focus in. They did the whole store directory, like all the way through, and they have it all good. So you have Apollo Coffee. If you don't know that, you know, Thaco Taco Taco Company, Mr. Cookies, Twister Pretzels. See You Next Tuesdays. What do we got here? Ticket Blaster instead of Ticketmaster. Pee Wee Pets. So you can break into all these different places and hang and have fun. Up, up, down, down. Left, right, left, right. BA start. It's just, so this is one that I'm going to try to run over the holidays this year, just for the heck of it, which would be fun. John announced it last year, and I talked to him about it at Pack Shoe, and it was absolutely, he went off. If you go back and look at my page cover or my Pack Shoe coverage from last year, like his rant on this game was what sold me on it. It's absolutely hysterical. So let me take a look at how this Foundry system works. I'm going to get that off. There we go. And we'll go to this mode because I don't need a dice for Alkalite. So basically, when you need to make a check in this game, and here's the cool thing about the way that Monty Python works. If you say, which is what a lot of people now, is you say, I roll investigation, and you roll the D20, and it's a DC 10, and you add your proficiency bonus and your, I guess, investigation is wisdom. I have no idea. Your wisdom bonus, and if you get over, you're gonna succeed. People like that. It's not the way I like to play. In this game, they basically say if someone tells you that, just yell at them, preferably in a British accent, like, well, that is just completely unhelpful. Like, why don't you try actually narrating something for a change? Tell me what you do. And here's the cool thing about the game is that in Monty Python, if you narrate what you want to do so well that you impress the whole, and the other cool thing about the game is that the GM is playing different personas throughout the game. So the whole is not the GM. They could be playing Ralph the Wonder Llama, and they all have different likes and dislikes. So you have to figure out what they like. But if you give them something they really, really like, they can give you a merit, but they can also say, intercourse the dice, and you just get an automatic success. I just think that's absolutely hysterical. But if you do have to roll, you're going to roll your dice. So if I describe what I am doing, I am going to try to get this just awful peasant who is trying to steal bread from this rich merchant to try to feed their starving child without paying for it. And I am going to try to bring them to repentance by telling them to give the bread back and think that it is oh so noble that your child suffer for your integrity. That's the type of thing that you can go. And he goes, okay, roll purpose, because it's going to be purpose against, and it's probably going to be maybe, and this is where the GM or the whole gets to decide, is it going to be their purpose, or is it going to be authority? So I could have done something authority too, but this is, if my purpose in life is to try to get people to follow the strictures of my religion, not steal. Well, what are they going? Is it their purpose? Is rolling against their purpose because they're trying to feed their kid? Are they rolling against their decorum or their glibness? Like, what are they going through? So I think for this one, it would be purpose versus purpose. Sometimes you're going to have a set number. They're going to say like, this is like a 10, or a PC will have, or an NPC will have a set number. But for this, or we'll have a set die that they roll. And for this, I am just going to roll purpose. And I roll a 2 plus 1, because I have an accoutrement there. So I get a 3, and that doesn't succeed. Probably not. And that's basically, everything's basically a contested roll in this game. Here's the cool thing, though. Let me keep rolling purpose for a bit. And it's not going to happen for a while. There's a 7, there's a 6. Oh, there, I rolled a 1. You see that I went down? So if you spam, which is rolling a 1, you go down a die and you get a demerit. And every whole persona has a different number of demerits that they can stand in a player before they bring the hammer down on someone. And they what is it? Beshrewment. They beshrew them. And then each hole has their own chart that they roll off, which is a D30 chart, and you could end up just being squashed by a giant foot. I did forget one thing to put in my character sheet. I'll show you in a second. Squashed by a giant foot. You can, and the whole thing is set up like a television show, so someone could change the channel, and suddenly you are watching like the Llama Olympics. and you have to do the color commentary for it, and anybody who fails gets a demerit, and takes a couple bits of loony. It's really bizarro stuff. The one thing that I did forget for this character is their spiffing serious ability, which is their cool thing they can do. And my spiffing serious ability, excuse me, where is my SSA? There we go, is indulgences. So there's my indulgences that I can roll. I can activate that basically once per session, and then it's going to tell me what I can do to recharge it if something does not do well. That's really what we go to. So now I'm down into a D6. I'm going to roll. Oh my gosh, and I went down to a roll the 1 again. So he's really, really bad at his job. Of course, now I have a D4, and I can try to get up. I am dice cursed today. Oh my gosh. There we go. I finally went up. And then I went back down again. So, oh, and that's what happens when you roll a when you struth, you roll your max number and then it explodes. So you get to roll the new die as well and add that total. So what you saw when I rolled a 4, it rolled the D6 right after it. And look at that. See? I rolled a D6 and then I rolled a D8. And actually my D8 can struth as well. And then I would go from basically a D6 to a D8 to a D10, and you would add those all up. And then that's what you would eventually get. It's utterly and wonderfully bizarro. If you get over a 20, the whole yells at you for taking yourself too seriously and gives you a demerit. But you get all the benefits of rolling that much. It's just, I can't tell you how utterly wonderfully absurd it is. I really do love it. But that's basically how the character works. He's back to his starting point with 8, which is nice. He's got his naughty pictures. I could create a nice little piece of art for him and whatnot if I wanted to. And that's a character sheet. So we did this in my session. We did it right there at the table, and it was very, very easy. It's just a matter of writing down what your accoutrements are, and you're done. In this thing, let me get myself big all of a sudden. Come on. There we go. And we'll take that off. Take that off. There we go. In the way that it's set up on Foundry, it's just a little bit because I have to assign all the accoutrements to the things, and that's when you're doing that with paper. That's not a problem at all. So it's pretty silly. It is really, really silly. Very, very, very silly. So the one session I played, which was at Brewery 33 here in Riverton, I played a king. I played a monarch. And I thought that was a lot of fun. We did not play the system right, by the way. It was just, we played enough of it right to get the gist of how the game works. But I played a monarch. The guy next to me was playing a knight. I went, oh, well, you work for me. The monarch has to have a manservant, so I had a manservant named Manny because he didn't remember his name. They said, oh, you work for me. So what is your name, good Sir Knight? And as he was telling me his name, there was a huge clinking of glasses by the bar, and I didn't hear it because the object permanence or whatever goes on in my brain screwed up. So I never heard the name. So I just kept calling him Sir George. It's Quinn, sir. And I just completely ignored it. But I very seriously called him my loyal knight, Sir George, the entire session. And he's like, it's Quinn, sir. And he never got frustrated. He just, yes, of course, I'm going to do what the monarch says. That's good. The guy next to me, who is my daughter's Call of Cthulhu GM, he ended up playing a Cole, but a Cole source, a Chol, how do we pronounce it? A Cole sorcerer who very much wanted to overthrow the monarchy and replace the corrupt system of oppression with one of democratic equality. And I treated him like he was my most loyal servant. And he went the whole time. He's like, I just don't know how I feel about this. And it was just 2 hours of him like explaining to me how he was going to replace it with with science, and I just completely ignored him. Yes, 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 wonderful. Please come. Um, let us go do this. My most loyal servant. And I don't know. I just hate myself. And that was 2.5 hours of that, or 3 hours of that, and it was absolutely glorious. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's see what we got. Hey, Eric, how are you? New dice is here. Coleslaw? Yes, coleslaw. No, I don't need coleslaw. Hey, Eric, it's, good to have you here, good sir. I made a Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program character, a cleric named Tripton, who's high class, and he was blinded by science. Yes, he's totally indifferent to science. Here, I'll show you my character sheet. Since you came on late, let's switch this up. Go. There we go. So this is my character sheet. His name is Tripton. He's a cleric. He's upper class. And so if you know anything about the game, you can roll anything from a D20 all the way down to a D4. Obviously, the bigger dice are better because you have a more chance of succeeding in your challenge. Your what do you call it? Not challenged. Everything is a contested roll. Thank you. My brain is not working. I need to hang up soon. And I decided to roll for my attributes or my traits, and I got an 8 in purpose and an 8 in lorefulness, which is like not great. And then I got a 14 in decorum and then a 12 in glibness. So he can flatter people pretty well. He doesn't know what he's doing at all. Not really. And he's not really dedicated to it anyway, but man, he fits in with the well-dressed crowd. And that's the character. And he's got an acolyte that follows around that I got a name. So that's really cool. Ask him about his currency. My currency is naughty pictures that he confiscated from others for their own benefit of their immortal souls. And he's not even very good at that because he only has 3. He rolls a D30, and got a 3. So that's great. The currency is not called shillings. The currency, you can have acorns, cheese, eggs, gemstones, gold, lupins, naughty pictures, plague dead bodies, upper class twit, trading cards, and wizzo butter. This is not a normal game. Should be fun. So what I'm going to be doing this week at some point is, I think tomorrow night I have 2 of the players who are coming to make their characters a little bit later in the week. And I think Brian is coming on as well to help us go through the process. The other 2 characters will make their characters. And on the 11th at about 8:30 p.m., we're going to have some fun. Hopefully I can get the stupid chat working. Stupid thing doesn't work. And I don't know why, and it's really annoying me. Let's see if I can try to get it to come up now. Right at the end. What do you say? Standard. Okay, select live sources. Activate selected. You're selected. See, it just doesn't, the window went away that has the chat. And it doesn't have a way to reload. No, that did not work. It doesn't have a way to make the bring all to front. Nope. You can't create the chat window again, and I don't know why, and it's really annoying. I just don't get it. No, I don't want that. So I'm really annoyed that I can't get that chat window working, and I'm very sorry. Because I like when it works. It's so much fun. Maybe you have to cast the open chat spell. You know what? Your computer is indifferent to your tech roll, sir. Yes, it is. Well, Social Stream just doesn't like to work sometimes. And it seems to be only when I need it, which is a pain in the neck. But I think what happened is that the thing went active, and And what happened is it doesn't let you pop the window back up for some reason, and I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. Toggle issues to reload all streams. Yeah, it's so dumb. I gotta replace YouTube's whole. I love it. It's so great. And I should be able to play the thing, but it just doesn't. Let me see if I can bring it. Wait. Window title, resize window. Nope, that didn't work. Yeah, it's such a pain in the neck. I really wish it would let me do it. Make unclickable, go back, reload. It just doesn't want to do it. Are now using standard mode. Yeah, no kidding. Auto find and activate. I don't know. It just doesn't want to activate the thing. It says it's active, so I should be able to see it, but it doesn't want to show me the window, and I don't know why, and it's annoying. Let's see what we got for chats here as I knock my lights out of the way. On a huge tangent, why we blame YouTube for OBS issues. It's not OBS at this point. It's just this stupid social stream thing, because it doesn't want to show me the dumb window that has the chat on it that lets me do all the cool things, and it's just annoying me very much. Actually, you know what I could do? I could do this in OBS. Let me see if it's there. I don't know. Don't. I see you. See, it works in OBS, but it doesn't. I don't have the chat anywhere else. Let me see if I can get hold on. I'm going to have some fun here. I'm going to figure something else. Chat, doc, and overlay. Copy link. Let's see if I can do it here. Because why not, right? I am a total tangent at this point, and it's great. You don't need to see that. Go away. You're going to help me figure this out, guys. All right. No, it does not see anything. The chat is just not showing up, and I don't know why. That's really annoying me. It's all supposed to be in dark mode, and it's not, and that makes me unhappy. But I should be able to send for those who didn't, we were doing actual stuff. Now that see, now the demo chat went. There it goes. But it doesn't come up on my new chats aren't coming in. I don't know why. It's really, really a pain in the neck. But the fake test message went. And I'm not seeing the new stuff. So that kind of makes me unhappy. Oh, wait, auto activate. Oh, gosh, look at this. Come on, go. Make it work. It doesn't work. Darn, dang nabbit. Oh, that stinks. All right, hold on. So that's the pop out. Let me get this. Huh. I don't know. Because now I got the chat showing up. But now I can't get it to actually send to the Pixel chat, which is driving me crazy. This is a lot of moving parts, and I can't tell you how much I am looking forward to this working just with integration. So they say that YouTube chat is coming soon to this. And the reason why I'm doing it is because it worked. The streaming part works, and that's kind of why. It's just that it's a hack to get this other part in. It's a pain in the neck, unfortunately. Where's Safari? So that should be working, and it's not. And it's really ticking me off. Anyone ever see Demons and Demons 2? That would be cool. I have never seen that. I would be interested in seeing that. That would be kind of fun. So chat highlight. So that's the thing. Let's see. Session V2. There we go. Let me get my links. Social stream is a very difficult thing to set up sometimes. Copy link. All right, there we go. That's the URL. Let's see if I can get this to work. Oh wait, did it work? We're having trouble with that site. See how that's going to. So I need to delete this. I need to create a new one. All right, let's get working here. Come on. We're having trouble finding that site. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Because it puts it in twice. Give me a second. I can do this. I can do this. And this is terrible streaming, and I totally understand all of this, guys. All right, so now what is it doing? It doesn't want to find the site. I do not know. I do not know at all, guys. It should be working. I should have all the chat there, and it is not. And it works sometimes, and then other times it doesn't work, and I just don't get it, and it's driving me crazy. Anyways, let's see what we got here. Anybody do I am a work of blockbuster driving movie theater 1 and 2 is an apartment building? I don't know. B movies and the system are made for each other. So like having a chocolate peanut butter moment. That would be kind of fun. So that should be the chat URL right there. It should be, but it's not, and I don't know why. Stupid. It's stupid and it's not happy. It's making me upset, and it's not letting me edit the URL either, which is really a pain in the neck. So every time I change it, I have to delete it. And it works sometimes and it doesn't work others, and that's what's really annoying me. But that should work. That's the URL. And we're having trouble finding that site. Why? I don't know. So, oh well. Doesn't work. Nope. Can I edit it now? No. Nope. Doesn't work. Bah. Bah. No fun. Let's see what I guess. How do you feel about 2025 D&D Low Rosario? I know nothing about it. And that is not an understatement or not an overstatement. I gave up playing 5e, or not playing. I gave up running 5e. And it's not because it's a bad system. It's just one that I do not personally enjoy running. Which is one of the reasons why I didn't like it. Let me get my Jason Kelsey thing there. There we go. Have to have Jason there. Like, I don't enjoy running, so I didn't bother picking up the 20, 25 bucks because I knew I would never run it, and I would almost never get a chance to play it because I'm the one who runs games around here. So I just never picked it up. So, Wes, did you try to use the DOS prompts? The DOS prompts in what? Oh gosh, for my chat? You're giving me a headache, Eric. I'm on Mac, man. I have Linux. I have Unix. I can go to a bash shell. Actually, we use CHS now, I think. So I'm beyond DOS, man. Hey, Chris. I'm just about to get done, and everybody's popping on. And you get to watch me for 15 minutes try to get my pop-up chat working because it doesn't want to work. It's driving me nuts. And it should be, and it's not. I'm really unhappy about this. Like, I don't know why it doesn't work. It should. When enabled, that's a tally score. Emotes wall. Well, now I get stuff. It just showed up. I don't understand. Like, Low Rosario was interested in Nimble but never picked it up. I like 5e because I play with kids and it's simple for them. That's cool. Hey, we play what we play. Not a problem for anything. And that's so weird. It finally popped up a pop-up of somebody's chat on the thing, but it took forever. I'm gonna try the URL again, see if it works. Nope, we're having trouble with that URL. I don't know. Why did it work for 1 second and then didn't work again? I just don't know. It's very strange. Oh, well, we try. I tried. I really did. I very much tried to get this to work. Copy link. I'm going to try this one more time in Pixel Chat because I think that there was a problem. That's it. I'm going to get it to work. I'm going to get to work. This is the problem when you have people like me who are tech nerds. We really want something to work really, really bad. And I think maybe it'll work now. Well, I'm not getting the error now. It's just not sending the thing to the chat. I don't know. It should work. There's no reason why it doesn't work. It just doesn't like me. Anyway, so let's see. We got Bob. I'm a fan of cubes. 90% same system. In my opinion, Nimble 5e is easier. Yeah, Linux is fun. I switched to Mac because I got tired of editing or compiling my video editor and also Instant Alpha on Keynote because I did a lot of presentations. Gonna pick up Daggerheart and/or Draw Steel. Both seem cool. Opposite ends of the TTRPG spectrum. That's a really good question. So, and please forgive me for being distracted, guys. I really have been trying to get this to work, and it's so hard when you're banging your head against something. Yes, I will probably not get Draw Steel. Draw Steel doesn't sound like anything I really want to that I would necessarily enjoy. It's if you like 4E, it's because it's got a lot of 4E DNA in it, from what I've been told, because I have the 4E books. I have not had a chance to read them yet. So that's kind of more, it's like total tactical, and that doesn't interest me at all. I really am intrigued by Daggerheart because they somehow meshed this like really crunchy system and then gave it this narrative game overlay with the hope and the fear concept that just is interests me a lot. Um, and you can ignore the narrative aspect of it if you just want to play it mechanically, which is what I think a lot of people end up doing. And I would probably lean more towards the narrative and skip some of the mechanics. Um, but there's something intriguing about the way Daggerheart does something. There are things that give me pause. It is very much a high fantasy. Everybody's got powers and abilities and whatnot. I like characters to have to grow into being powerful. That's one of the reasons why I really enjoy running Daggerheart. So I get a little pause on that. Um, the cards thing, they're useful. And I've turned into a deck goblin because the cipher system, because I have cards for the ciphers that I toss out. I have cards for the creatures that I use. I have cards for like assets that I give if somebody does role play and give like an asset thing. So I use a lot of decks now. So I've gotten a little bit used to that, but it's more of I give it to you and you give it back. And the way that the decks are set up for Daggerheart, you have to give them the card, and if they're not going to keep the card, they got to write it down on the sheet and then give it back. And then if you come back later and they want to use the cards because they are easier to reference than your hand scribbles on the sheet, they got to go through and hand the cards out to it. And my question was, well, is anybody going to buy their own deck? And of course, this is now something that they're coming out with. Is they're coming out with decks for all the cast or all the classes, so that people can get their own deck, which makes a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. So there's a lot about Daggerheart that interests me, and I probably will pick that up sometime. I don't think I'll pick up Draw Steel. And like I said, it's just something that I didn't do. What do we got here? What, if anything, can you tell me about Land of Eam? Give me 1 second. Back to Nimble 5e. You guys can talk about that. Please do enjoy it. I know people love Nimble 5e, and I just haven't even looked at it yet. And Lozier, it seems rigid. Daggerheart seems interesting, has a lot of traction with the community. Daggerheart's got a lot of traction with the community, which is really cool. What can I tell you about Land of Eam? I did do a review. I keep knocking this light over. I did do a review of Land of Eam last year before the books came out with and just off the PDF. And I did have Ben and James on not too long ago because they were back doing their new Kickstarter for it, who are really nice guys. Land of Eam is very much a narrative game. It has DNA from Powered by the Apocalypse. It has, but instead of using 2d12, it's a 1d12 system, and it's because they didn't want a bell curve. They wanted it to be completely swingy and completely random, which really makes sense for the setting. And that was one of the questions that I had from him, is like, did you want that much swing and no curve? Like, oh yeah, we want it to be completely unpredictable. Like, okay, cool. It is really, really an interesting system. And they didn't even know this, but in my review, I looked at the ranges that they had for their results for your rolls, and I brought up the table results from BX of the NPC reaction table, and they're identical. I mean, as close to identical as you can get, because the reaction roll was 2d6 and this is 1d12. But the ranges are basically there. So they made an entire game that is basically based off the NPC reaction table from BX. They did not know they did that. And I thought that was really one of the coolest things. It is a really neat game. I ran one session of it. My players, it's one of those things where I need to get a little bit more used to running it. Because it was a little bit too quick. But it's really interesting. It is not designed to have every encounter end up in combat. You can have a whole bunch of different outcomes, and there's different ways that you can do it. So you have to have the right group of players who are willing to interact with the world and try to create the narrative of the adventure through that interaction, which some people are like, well, duh. But I mean, there's players out there just like, just give me the mission and we're going to go there and we'll just do what we have to do. And we're not going to ask any other questions because we just want to get to the next step. They're the people that just, they don't pay any attention to the story in a computer role-playing game. They just want to get to the next section. So if you get a person who, or a group that is really into interacting with the world and doing kind of goofy things and coming up with creative solutions to the encounters they have, this Land of Eam can be an incredible system for that. I really want to run it again. So we ran a starter adventure, and I won't give anything away because in case when people play it. But essentially, they got to the BBEG, and there's a portion of initiative where it's called parlay, to where you can talk with the person and try to talk them off the ledge. Whoa, whoa, we don't need to be fighting here. Look, here's, I have this sack of gold over here that I can just, you could just drop. And, if it disappeared in a week, in the next 2 minutes or so, we can all be even and nothing happens. And you can do that. So what my group did is they convinced the big bad evil person that they had secured for them an audition on the Mucklands Got Talent, and they just needed to go to the studio, and they were ready to be on there, and they could restart their career. And went through this whole thing, and it worked. I mean, I had them roll for it the way that the parlay works, and I think it is a contested roll if memory serves me, and they just knocked it out of the park. And this person was very, very glad and went off. And this is where things are like, well, that was the end of the adventure because they didn't have to take out the big bad evil character. They had to just convince them to go away. So for a one shot, that was a little bit not enjoyable because that's it. There was nothing to it. But if you were, now here's the other thing. There's no such thing as Mucklands Got Talent. So if they were playing that as a campaign, they just created their arch nemesis, who was already a big bad evil person from one of the adventures. And so if they played an ongoing, now this person's got a direct grudge against them because they're going to go show up looking for Mucklands Got Talent. It doesn't exist. And they're going to remember those folks who convinced them and have them give up their plot that was giving them great joy. And they're going to track them down. And so they're just going to be constantly popping up. So for if we were playing a campaign, that would have been one of the best outcomes because sure, we succeeded now, but now our lives are going to be miserable for the next 3 years because this thing is chasing us around. I'm like, yes. That's what Land of Eam does really, really well. If you're going to do a campaign in Land of Eam, perfect. I just think that you can build on the narrative so well. And it's a sandbox. I mean, it's just, let me bring up this is the sandbox book. You see how thick that is? That's every hex, every region in the Mucklands. Compared to, this is the core book. I don't even have to have these the same direction. That's how much effort they put into making the setting. And it's a sandbox, and you can go anywhere and do just about anything. It's really, really cool. Just why there's there for now. It's really wild. Muckland has no talent, which is why there's no Honey Boo or Gurlock the Destroyer. Yep, there's no talent in Muckland. But that's what they did, and so you can go through on this hex crawl, and there's great exploration rules in Land of Eam, so you could just go off in a direction and just be bumping into people left and right. And again, not every encounter is meant to end up in combat. So you could just be making all these contacts and enemies all along the way as you stumble through life. It's really, really cool. So I'm very much impressed with Land of Eam. There's a reason why it won a couple of Ennies. And their bestiaries won best bestiary, I think. And so that's the bestiary, which I haven't even read yet. I've looked at it a little bit, but the artwork is great. It's kind of like Muppets meet Lord of the Rings meets Mad Max type style thing. It's very much it's subversive humor in a lot of ways. That's very much Muppet-esque like that. And it's based off of their book series, Rickety Stitch and the Gelatinous Goo. So that was kind of fun. One of my players in our one shot played a gelatinous goo, and he determined that he could not make vocalizations, and so their opening scene was at a restaurant, and he determined that he needed to refresh his internal alphabet and dissolved a couple of menus, and then every time he wanted to say something, he just spelled out the sentence in front of them and like magnified it so people could see it. It was really really fun. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, Land of Eam is definitely worth checking out. If you don't want to get the books and spring for those, at least get the PDFs because the PDFs are really, really nice. They are very good. I actually got for Father's Day, I was so impressed with that. I went out and got the DM screen for it. This is from my daughter. Got me this. I did not get to play this with my daughter, but I need to because it's right up her alley. It's got the type of chaos that she loves. So yeah. It was really, really fun. So we got 15 people watching, and I have been on for like 2 hours, and you spent like 20 minutes having me try to find out why the chat wasn't working. Hey, Swords and Stones. I'm trying to go to bed, and people keep on showing up. It's great. Absolutely amazing. So I want to see something. Where's my OBS? Yep, see, it works there. It works in OBS. It does not work here. Wait a minute. That's so weird. I am so confused. Somehow I got it working. I don't know how. There's this phantom window that showed up that if I click on something, it appears. I don't know where it went to, but it works now. This is so bizarre. Yes, you are keeping me up. See, they work now. Why? Why does this suddenly work? I don't know. But if I click on the window, it goes away. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, because that's really weird. Huh. Okay. I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. Because it's like this weird window popped up where it's not all the same. It's very strange. I'm very confused. I do not know why it works. The artwork is amazing. Land of Being best year from what I've seen. It really is. It's very, very cool. Oh, it made this transparent window, and that is why it's not working. Oh, that's so bizarre. I am now having fun, enjoying life. Why is this transparent? I have no idea. Mr. Blawface is here. Gosh, how do I have 14 people watching after an hour of stuff? Great. Hey, Mr. Blawface. So yeah, we've had fun talking, and you guys got to watch me do technical support, so that was great. I am at Gen Con. Hey, Mr. Blawface, you're at Gen Con. That is awesome. I hope you are having a wonderful time. That makes me very happy that you are. I could not get to Gen Con this year. I had put in for a grant that would allow me to pay to go to a couple of conventions, and did not get the grant. So I had to pick one, and I'm going to go to Gamehole Con. I'm looking forward to that, which is good. Too bad Gen Con is so far away from me. Yeah, Sword and Stones, I'll be often. I am Bob. To be honest, after I felt this dude said something I found this right, I came to watch alive. I like the community. I also enjoy questions being answered. What dude? I'm not sure what the contents of that is. Anyway, So yes. Jealous. I wish I got to get Gen Con. Yep. I wish I got to Gen Con. One day so I had a choice to go to Gen Con or Gamehole Con this year. Those were my choices. Because I only had enough money to go to I don't really have enough money to go to either, but I was only allowed to choose one. And the people who know me are basically looked at me and went, "Yeah, you need to go to Gamehole Con." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "People. I am a strong introvert. Like if you take me to the mall and during the holiday shopping season, I implode almost immediately." Oh, me? I said something disrespectful? Okay. Um, I try not to. Oh, well, no, getting political is not getting disrespectful. I get political at least once in all my what do you call it? Um, random thoughts. I'll do it at least once. So anyway, you ran Mr. Blobface, you ran games for GUI Cube. Cool. What'd you run? That'd just be fun. That would be a lot of fun. So that would be very, very good. I'm running. So at GameholeCon, I'm going to run Sentinel Comics RPG, and at Page, I am running Sentinel Comics RPG, and I'm going to run Into the Odd, which are two games that I really, really enjoy. I enjoy running. I do want to run Streamlined Superheroes for some people one time, which would be good. I want to go to the game. Yeah, but you got the Gen Con, so it's like, I mean, you could have an embarrassment of riches by going to both of them. It's kind of hard. I so I have I gosh, I'm going to 3 conventions, 4 because I run one. Um, so I went to EcclesiaCon and Page, and then coming up, I'll go to GameholeCon, I'll go to PAX Unplugged, then I'll go to Page. That should be good. Can't please everyone, Wes. Yeah, it's one of those things. I just keep doing stuff. Yep, 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 yep. Um, yeah, Bob, I think here's my problem with that statement, and this is as honest I'm going to get, and I am giving you my problem from a statement because I'm a pastor, and I hear that type of phrasing before. It's not people, it's you. We like to abstract ourselves from our opinion or our statement from something because we don't want to necessarily take the direct responsibility for it. So we make it bigger so it's not just what I'm saying. So we have to project out. You hear this all the time because you'll see people all the time. If they do something stupid or awful, they'll be like, "Well, at least I'm on the right side of history," and I don't have time for that type of attitude. And you see that in church a lot of time. Um, well, people are saying, "Well, no, 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 no. I can't talk to people. I can talk to you." And there's a problem. Like there's a problem in that direct church setting because all of a sudden now I'm being talked to directly, and I don't like that. We like to deflect a little bit and keep it out there. So there's the phrasing I'm not too pleased with. And it's because of direct interfacing I've had with that type of statement throughout. Gosh, I've been here 22 years, and 2 years, so it's almost 25 years of being a pastor. It's kind of where I've been. And so I don't know. There's people who want that. So if there's just people, some people want it, some people don't want it. Ooh, I don't. Cool, that's fine. And that's the type of thing. Wait, you're a pastor, right? Hold on a second. Now I can do this. It's kind of fun. Wait, you're a pastor, right? How are you an introvert? Oh, misnomer. Misnomer. If you have someone who is comfortable talking in front of a crowd, it does not mean that they are introvert or extrovert. You can have extroverts who are terrified of public speaking. You can have introverts who are terrified of public speaking. You can have introverts who are really, really good at interfacing with people and enjoy interacting with them. And you can have extroverts who really like that. You can, who are good at that. same thing. So introversion and extroversion doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you can be around people or whether you can do public type things. Introversion or extroversion talks about the way that you recharge yourself. So for me, um, as a pastor, so when I first got here, we had two services, and so we had an 8:30 and an 11, and by the time the 11 o'clock service ended, I was a basket case. And it took like a good year and a half to convince people, do not tell me something that's important for me to connect with you on later in the week, because I will not remember at all. Because by the time worship get done, my brain is already shutting down. Like I am going into retreat mode. And I actually came home one time and it was great because my wife and I were talking in the kitchen. I didn't even forget what the conversation was. And I said something and she looked at me and it was not English. And she went, "Go lie down now. Like just go to sleep." Because I needed that recharge. An extrovert, if they're exhausted at the end of doing two worship services, they'll go out and like search out a basketball game. Oh, I want to play a game. I got to be around people. I got to re-energize. And that's the only difference. So it's got nothing to do with whether or not you can be around people. And in fact, for me, um, if I'm in a group, I would much rather be in front talking than sitting in the crowd, because sitting in the crowd, I'm exhausted because I'm having to like just sit here, unless it's like a lecture where I'm interacting with the stuff. But a lot of times in worship, it's especially the way the Protestant worship is set up. It's just like I just sit here like this. That's exhausting. But if I can be up at front and doing stuffing, that's what I love. See, and that's why I can stream like this. And I'll go. When I get done, I'm going to crash. Because that's not I recharge that way. But I like to be talking with folks. That's kind of what I do. My late dad was a vicar. Thank you. You're so British. I love it. I don't know if you're British. You're over from the pond on the other side of the pond. Some people don't like their views being challenged by church leaders. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the calling, part of the calling. One of the things that I hate being a pastor is that you never stop. It's like a 24/7 position. You're always, and I say hate. It's just, you think like, oh, I'm hiding it, and people pick it out. Like, you're a pastor. I'm like, I cannot hide from myself. It's great. So Chris, an introvert who spent a career as a PE teacher. Which is great because you just like, I need a break. Everybody go run 5 laps. And you get to breathe. I think that's a brilliant gig for an introvert. So a lot of fun. So, yep, it's an interesting time. What do we got else going on? So I got my random thoughts coming on tomorrow. I videoed most of it on Thursday. We went up to Easton, PA for a couple of days, recorded one last day. I shot this in log and this is my first time trying to color grade something. It took me a few tries to get it looking similar to what I get with the automatic. So if it looks really off, let me know. And I shot something up there while I was up there. I reshot one of the lines. And that's scheduled for tomorrow at 11. I was like, I'm on sabbatical right now, so I don't have to be there at like 6 in the morning. And like, do I let it go live like during worship? I'm like, nah, it'd just be kind of mean. I'll let it go after we get done. I'm gonna knock this thing out. This light down here is really fun. When is EcclesiaCon? Oh, good question, Rosario. EcclesiaCon next year is going to be May 1st and 2nd. So we are just going Friday and Saturday, but we are going all day Friday and Saturday. So that should be a lot of fun. Whereas the last couple of years we did Friday evening, all day Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. And Sunday afternoon, yeah, you could take your leave, but people are like, we need more Friday stuff. So that's what we're doing. When I give instructions to the class, it's like dealing with one person. Otherwise, I spoke to people one-on-one or small groups. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But my most terrifying thing in any like of any social situation is to go to a party. That's utterly terrifying to me. This is why why Gen Con is one of the places people who know me are like, yeah, no, because I wouldn't go with a plan, and I would probably be overwhelmed, and I would hide in my hotel room until something really had to draw me out. I think I said this on the channel before, but my first time I went to PAX Unplugged, I did that because I'd never been to a convention before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a media badge. I'm going to go talk to people, and this is 3 years ago. PAX Unplugged. It is not that big, and I'm like, there is noise. There are people. I don't know what I'm doing, and I would do my interviews, and I would sprint home to edit them because I didn't know anybody, didn't have a plan. And then my second year, um, I went with Dave from Grimwood Games. We had a plan. We walked around. Some of the people that I interviewed the year before remembered me. I had interviewed some folks on the channel by that point, and I had people to talk to. So I had places to go, and it totally changed the vibe. And then last year was like I didn't want to leave because it had become comfortable to where I knew so many distinct people in there that it was more like hanging out with friends in different places. Um, how did you overcome speaking in front of a group when you became a pastor? I'd never had a problem speaking in a problem an issue with fear about speaking in front of a group. If I hadn't become a pastor, I probably would have tried to become an actor. And again, if I'm in a group setting, I'd rather be the one talking than sitting. Um, I like give and take when I'm presenting. Um, but I am much more comfortable doing that because I get to talk about something I really enjoy then. That's really good. Um, my advice is don't express your opinion. It turns, I'm assuming, people off. Um, yeah, Bob, I got to tell you, it's terrible advice. If you're creating something that's taboo that we're just not going to talk about, um, and we'll just sweep it under the rug. And if terrible things are going on, then we can't talk about it. And um, part of me as a pastor, part of me as a disciple of Christ, is I have to speak to the whole of the human condition. Part of that is politics. Now we are very screwy because we have got things very, very screwed up. Because even it used to be, you can talk politics, don't be partisan, which is fine. Okay, so then you can talk policy, but you can't be partisan. We're not going to recruit for somebody, which is great. And there's issues with that, but okay, we'll go for that. What has happened in the last 25 years, really since Trump came in and started running for office, but it happened before that, is that the campaigning has never ended. Everything is treated like you're on the campaign trail. So we're just catering to base. We're just catering to base. We're just going to base. We're just doing this to base. We're just going to base. Constantly, 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 constantly. And of course, if one side is doing that and the other side has to do that because we are a two-party system, which is before one of our two parties decided that they didn't want to share power anymore. The two-party system was actually the greatest threat to the republic, which I wanted to get rid of for most of my adult life and go to a multi-party system, which unfortunately Americans apparently don't do well with multiple choices. But we've never gotten out of you're stuck in campaign mode. And the problem with the campaign mode is that the most effective campaign mode that we've come up with is just to do constant attack ads. to where now you have people who literally, and I just watched a guy who's interviewing his dad on the internet. And again, I'm a pastor. I've met some of these people who do not give a crap if the Democrats all die because they're just evil and we hate them. I'm watching this video going, and his son's registered Democrat, which is another thing is people assume like, well, you're just a Democrat. I've been registered independent since I was 18 because again, I thought the two-party system was the greatest threat to the republic, because you had two parties that created themselves as de facto official. Neither of those two parties is official. That R&D, they're private clubs on people's names. That's all they are. We pretend they're democratic institutions. They're not. But we've created this extreme animosity. The issue right now is we have this extreme problem with someone who is always on the campaign trail, who, because he's always on the campaign trail, he also doesn't like to accept responsibility for the things that he does. It's always somebody else's problem. It's always somebody else's fault. He just fired the head of a independent data organization because they put out answers he didn't like or data that he didn't like. To where I just saw a Republican, I don't know if he's a senator or a congressman. I'll go back and get the quote for that. Just like, he's got to grow up. Like, you can't do that. But that's kind of where we are now. And that's really kind of the grand issue with this. And you do have a cult of personality around this, to where he's been able, up until this Jeffrey Epstein thing, he's just been able to say, well, and he tried to do it again with the person he just fired. It was a Biden appointee. The woman who was heading the institute passed with a bipartisan thing. I think there was only 8 votes against her. And Mark Rubio and JD Vance voted for her. But it's a Biden party. Everything is now, he's saying, like, everybody's like, everything's political all the time, but it's Trump who's doing it. He's political. I'm like, he's a Biden appointee. He's getting called out on Obama. Suddenly he's getting called out about Epstein, and suddenly we're investigating Obama for treason. Even though the Supreme Court has said that if he's doing something in his official capacity, he's technically immune from it. There's issues here. I do have an extreme leeriness about a cult of personality. I have an extreme leeriness about listening to Christians who are making statements. My former boss here in New Jersey, because I was a communications coordinator for the American Baptist Churches of New Jersey, he wrote a book called The Sincere Hand of Friendship, and it's about the Baptist response to the Holocaust. And he went through all the different, I think it was England, United States, and he did a little bit of Canada and Germany. He did another book that he was doing the other ones. I think that's still being written. Or did I read that one? He's written a lot of books. And it's really interesting looking at the different responses. Because even in World War II, you had, well, we're going to stand up. We have to stop this about what Hitler's doing to the Jews. And the Black Americans are like, yeah, we do. And, oh, by the way, hello, this is World War II. They're looking around doing that, which is part of the American heritage, because that's what Baptists and Presbyterians did in Virginia during the Revolution. We're like, oh yeah, you want us to fight for you? Sure. How about you stop trying to shut down our churches? Huh? That's where the Virginia Declaration of Rights and the Freedom of Religion came from, or from that push. But as you go through and you're reading all these stories, and he's got all the receipts, he's got the original manuscripts, first person sources, primary sources. Um, he went through and did the German ones. And this is back the first term. And he's quoting from these things. And if I would have changed terms, you wouldn't have known that he wasn't talking about Trump because the statements were exactly the same. Not exactly the same, but the overlap was there, which is which is a problem. When you have religion subsumed by state, especially one with a fascist impulse. Um, for me personally, you destroy any kind of witness that you have for doing anything good for Christ. That's a problem. Um, and then the other thing is that you end up becoming an instrument of that state to do evil, which is what happened to the German Baptist. That's what they did during World War II. They were totally in on it. They're totally down with Nazism, fascism. And it's happening. That's what is happening now. So I don't, I live with people who are terrified for reason, for cause. And so I have to speak out. And I have to speak out in a way that actually keeps them safe. That's kind of important. So, so how is it fascist? Um, well, we've taken away, let's see, we are suing schools and trying to determine what they're allowed to teach. You have to take away your DEI, whatever the hell that means. Nobody even knows. It just is a great talking point. And we're going to settle. We're going to settle. So you have people who are capitulating for that. So you're taking over the institutions of higher learning. You are threatening to impeach judges, which that happened. You are. He's basically said these people who are criticizing you are attacking treason. He's assumed that he is the state when he was talking about the governor of Maine about their issue on, is it Prop 13 for having the transgender athletes participate in sports. So we are the federal government. No, you're the steward of the federal government. You're not the thing. Is not really good. So we have a concentration camp in the Everglades. We've identified an enemy and we're going after them. So not sure what to tell you. You want to call it Trump derangement syndrome? That's great, but I call it a cult of personality. So that's where you are. I'm really not interested in talking about that at all anymore. So you asked, I answered, have fun. So, but that's kind of what we're doing. So Agile Monk knows a lot of pastors that are introvert. Yep. Which is good. Let's see what we missed for that. Were you trying to get a grant from my church for this? No, there's an institution that gives grants out for pastors. And I did not pass muster for it. I just got Mythic Bastion Land hardcover. It's amazing. I need to pick that up, actually. I need to get an Electric Bastion Land, too. But I do need to get that. It's weird. Catholic Church during World War II could have done much more to help people than they did. Yeah. I think a lot of institutions could have done more to help than they did. Yeah, grow thicker skin, whatever. I don't have. It's an illegal immigrants camp. Okay. I'm not even. Yeah, Bob, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't know what to say more than that. You're going through the process of the legal process of getting through stuff and getting snatched out of court because they've arranged that they're just going to toss it. And drag you down for something that is a civil offense, which is why we don't imprison people who are undocumented because it's not a criminal offense. We're just going to intern them. Oh, and by the way, we'll sell them to the farmers to use for labor, which is another thing that they've put out, which again is a fascist thing. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's there's no nice way to put that. That's a bullshit statement. There's no way to go through that. It just is. So, so yeah, that's kind of where we are. Sorry you lost. There's evidence. Oh my dear Lord. So yeah, that's all we can see that you're on Newsmax. That's what narcissists do. They deflect and blame everybody else, never to take accountability. That's narcissism. That is absolutely textbook narcissism. Yep. So, thank you. Oh, Mithra, you're Trumpet. What are you giving all these memberships out? You're so nice. Thank you so much, which is good. So, all right. Well, it is 11 o'clock. I don't have to be up early tomorrow. My image is going blurry again, which is really weird. This is a strange system. I do like it, but it's a little bit clunky. We'll get it working. So that's kind of what I'm doing for here. I'm with you. Stand up for what's right. It's just not so. Eric, I am always happy for encouragement, which is I want people to totally understand that. This isn't about your second statement is really kind of where I am. There are right things, and and people think, well, I'm just on a different side. This is not the side. These aren't sides. This is just right. That's what we do. Oh, Monk, what do you guys? You guys are very nice. You're very kind, folks. Thank you. Very, very kind. We got old school online here. We got Elder Goblin Games gets the membership. I gotta have to redo all my graphics now. So thank you guys. You're very, very kind. So glad to see. Oh, Jordan's awesome. So by the way, speaking of Elder Goblin Land of Eam, we're trying to schedule this. Jordan and I have to put together our party, but he's at Gen Con right now. We are trying to do a live stream of Land of Eam, which should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. So you guys are awesome. So, but we've had a very, very good time. So I'm glad I took over your stream. Bye-bye. Okay, so I just point like that is where political discourse is in America right now. It's own the libs, screw you, bye. Like, fine. So, goodbye. That's fine. Whatever. You got a lot of people who are having a good time, and you enjoy, like, what? Hurting? Being cruel? It's just sad, man. It's sad. Because you don't want to face the fact that the person who has led you down a road is a complete narcissist who doesn't give a damn about you. It's bad. Ecclesiacon is ecclesiacon.com. Ecclesiacon.com, not ecclesiastic.com. Ecclesiacon. So let me see if I can create the text overlay here. This is fun. Let's do a text banner. Which I have to start getting to, by the way, because I need to start encouraging people to do stuff. It is that. Let me get your thing off. Ecclesiacon.com. That's Ecclesiacon. So cool. Where are you based? Like, what region are you in, Rosario? Are you near Philly? It's please don't feed the trolls west. I just listen, if they're on the chat and they do something like that, I like have it on like public record that like that's just cruel and sad. I don't feed the trolls. So, but good. The art of debating no longer exists. It does no longer exist. It's just kind of sad. So, yeah. But North Jersey, oh yeah, you got to come down for it. So it's a nice time. It really is. I hope you are able to come down for it next year. I think we can max out at like 150, which should be fun. So, will CleeseCon go national at some point? I've had people from Maine come down and upstate New York come down. I mean, it's fine. Come on out, go wherever you want. But we are a small boutique convention, and it's a lot of fun. It's exhausting, but it is a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, I really do. I got to go to bed, and you guys have made this a lot of fun. So thank you so much. You're really, really, really good. You're a great audience. And thank you so much. And hey, we deal with people when they show up. So that's good. Ah, boy. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go crash. It's been a fun night, and you all have a great time. Until we see each other again, folks.